I don't have my little. Good evening. I'd like to call the East Lyme Board of Finance regular meeting of Wednesday, September 9th to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I trust your summers went well. We had a great weekend to cap it off. We'll move to delegations. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak at delegations?
Did you want me to speak under delegation?
Whatever you would like to do.
No.
But you're on the,
You're on the agenda.
You're on the
This is the first time we're going to try to give you a little update as to what's
Right.
going on for that. So.
no, you're actually an agenda item, so
Okay.
permanent.
unless you were speaking as a resident.
Okay, I didn't see it. Yeah.
For a second time, is there anyone from the public that would like to speak? For a third, hearing none, moving along, we have approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of August 12th, 2015.
Move to approve as submitted. Second.
Any discussion or corrections on the minutes?
Maybe. Oh,
Okay.
no, not. So just one item on page 4. It's not a change to the minutes, Karen. It's all good. But under the fiscal year transfers, we have the second paragraph there, or really I guess the third if you consider the first sentence. Ms. Picarazzi said there still might be an issue with fire departments since she'd like them tighter control. She asked when would be a good time. Mr. Nickerson suggested it would be reviewed in December. I just wanted to, you see where I am? I just wanted to make sure that that didn't fall through the crack, and would that be our tickler to stick it on the December agenda? That's all.
So what is it? What do you want the item to be?
To review the fire departments and their, let's see,
Overtime.
their overtime budget.
December would be a good time.
Yeah, that's what you suggested. I just didn't want to overlook it because those things can happen rather easily.
Oh, no, it won't be.
Okay, they do for me sometimes, so I just
There's a
thought,
plan.
great. That's all I had.
Any other corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion. One abstention. Motion carries 5-0-1. Moving on to reports. Good evening, Mr. First Selectman.
Evening. Evening, Board. We're just picking up from summer pace. You can feel it in the schedule. It's awfully busy. There are meetings going on, and Board of Selectmen are back to 2 a month, as are other commissions, and we'll just see a lot more content. Just to keep you up to date, Saunders Point Sewers, we have been waiting and waiting and waiting for DEEP to get back in touch with us to tell us what they needed for us to put in an application. Instead of doing that, I suggested to our Water and Sewer Commission just to put in an application, and then they can correct it, and that's exactly what they did. They were kind of shocked when they got it, and they said, oh, this is good, why don't you correct this, and add this, and we might be off to the races for getting a grant to do the engineering study that is sorely needed in Saunders Point. It's beyond needed at this point. We're holding off on paving all roads down there, and it looks like a minefield down there, frankly, and I appreciate and applaud the patience of the citizens down there. They are putting up with some tough roads. Of course, we want people to drive slowly in those neighborhoods anyway. We have lots of kids down there, but lots of houses close together. But, we're not going to pave roads and then dig them up and then put sewers in, whether it's, just a year or two from now. So we're working forward on that. We had really good positive feedback from DEP. That will be a good thing. We're starting some discussions about dredging Lake Patagonia, the silt and the muck. Is that a scientific word? But the muck at the bottom of the Lake Patagonia
Silt.
is needed. Silt. So we're looking into how that might happen. There are pellets you can put out there to kill the weeds and to eat away at the silt. As well, there's discussion about dredging Niantic River, which would be a big state and federal project that we'd be involved with, and that discussion's moving forward. We've talked about the beach stuff and the beach traffic in downtown and how wonderful and vibrant it is, but the traffic problems. Listen, if Disney can take 200,000 cars a day and move them through without incident, generally, we can figure out how to get our beach traffic from the overflow at Rocky Neck and when all the other parking lots are filled and get them down to where we'd like them to be without driving through neighborhoods and parking on lawns and us towing cars and creating angst. So we're gonna come up with a plan where we give proper signage to the beaches, and also work on a trolley system or something where we can get more people, more bodies on Cheney Park Beach. To give you an idea, hole in the wall is about it's 700 or 800 feet long, both hole in the wall and McCook's Beach, about the same size. The Cheney Park Beach is 2,200 feet long. I mean, more than twice the size, almost 150% higher. So, plenty of sand, plenty of opportunity. We're gonna get a bathhouse down there, and we gotta figure out a way to put a trolley on there. St. John's parking, I'm working on that. I have a meeting next week to sit down with the father over there and sit down and talk. Just maybe just talking about that gravel lot in the back of St. John's, and there's a access road through hole in the wall parking lot that we could clear out, and we could create some extra parking. We're going to get 70 extra spaces up on top of McCook's when the boardwalk is done. We'll talk about the boardwalk next, I promise you, Lisa. But we have a design, so when we rebuild that parking lot, which is going to happen, we're going to be adding 70 more spaces. We'll cut into the grass a little bit, but it won't take away from the vista or the actual park itself. Great design there. We think we'll be able to handle the crowds. But, we watch the number of non-resident parking passes we sell, the daily and seasonal passes we sell, and it's just dramatically rising, not just this year, not last year, but over the last 5 or 7 years. So people are finding our shoreline, and we're getting some publicity that we didn't ask for. Boston Globe magazine, the travel section on Friday, featured Niantic prominently, the place to be, and our inns, and our children's museum, and our boardwalk, and our 3 beaches, and how great it is, and our walking trails. It was prominent. Go out and find that if you haven't seen it. New England Boating Magazine, or Northeast Boating Magazine, featured us prominently. Boaters are starting to find us now. So we're not actually out there advertising the town, but people are finding us. And of course, when they come here, they see something. They see a gem, and they come back. So, questions? Boardwalk continues. Lots of bodies, down there working. Here's my hope. We were talking October 3rd, opening the whole thing. Obviously, that slipped a long time ago. My hope is, and we're working on this, we ran into a snag. It's the littlest things that slow you down. We're trying to get the right screw to put the railing in. So the vibration, little things you got to think about. And this is what our engineering team downstairs thinks about. I wouldn't have until 5 years from now when the train's rattling, unscrews these screws or loosens them, and all of a sudden we have rails that are unsafe. They thought this up. So we're trying to get a specialized screw like that, They're working on that. And once they get that, we're trying to build the railing and bring the fence over so that we might be able to open what they have already done, which is quite a bit. It goes, I I think almost up to the Morton House right now, which is almost 50% of the project. So it'd be great. We'll have 3/4 of a mile. If we could open that up in October, early October, gives us something. It gives a little taste, you know. Just met a couple at Frosty Treat. They walk it one's in the morning and one's in the afternoon, and they live down in Crescent Beach in the summer. They just love it. And they go, "Hey, we get it. It's a big project. You know, yeah, it was supposed to be open last summer, but it's a big project, and you know, we've waited this long. This much more is well worth it. So we're there. Questions? Our flagpole, that same couple asked about the flagpole. We have a flagpole on the green next to the gazebo, and it hasn't had a flag on it all summer. And we discovered it's structurally unsafe. You know, if you next time you're downtown and you're walking through, and we are all downtown, it's pretty awesome down there. Look up and you'll see it's a little crooked, and I think we're gonna have to put that in our CIP budget next year and spend some money on fixing that flagpole because it's noticeable. People are noticing, they're commenting, they're calling. We didn't have a flag on for Memorial Day. It just kind of was a bit of a bummer. And I also want to put those. You know, you go through these small little towns in New England, and they put flags on their light poles up and down Main Street. So I'm working on that for the light poles that we have. We're trying to make sure we don't, you know, do structural damage to the flagpoles we have. But and it is a state road, so there's a big issue there. This isn't a little village that we own the road, so we're going to make sure that's okay. And one other thing, we're you know, with so many pedestrians darting in and out of traffic and downtown being so busy, there is I think it's Holyoke, Mass. that have signs. Of course, we have signs in the middle of our street where the pedestrian crosswalk is. But, you know, pedestrians have a responsibility too. And so the Holyoke has a sign at the curb as you're about to enter the crosswalk that says stop, wave, you know, and stop, watch, and wave. You know, because we don't want people just darting out and assuming they have the right to just be there. Well, they do, but, you know, it'd be nice to slow the people down first because, you know, we all have been in those places. So we're looking into that for next summer.
Camille?
Do you have any update on the possible Niantic train station going in?
No update yet. We all read that the state had $175,000 put aside for a study. So it's a good question. I'll look into that.
Okay.
I don't know who studies that, and I don't know if that's a state study, if we're even involved, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they would tap into the first selectman's office and such, but haven't heard anything yet.
I think Ed Jutila's been working
Oh,
on
yeah,
that.
well, yeah, at the state level, for sure. And, yeah, he was working hard on that, and so was Paul. So we'll see where that goes.
Any other questions? Thank you for the update. Moving along, Board of Ed. Tim, is that?
Do you want to pull up a chair, Tim, or
All right, you want me to
Okay.
stand here?
whatever
That's
you want,
fine.
whatever's comfortable?
That will get down, so. Good evening.
Hi.
It's great to be here. I know when we went through our budget deliberations last spring, I think it was Beth Hogan that actually said, gee, we ought to see more of the Board of Ed instead of just seeing them when we're holding out our hand for money for our budget and the like. So I thought it was a great idea. Jeff Newton, our superintendent, is at the Niantic Center PTA meeting this evening. He may pop in, but I would imagine that he's going to be over there for a little bit. So I'm the first guinea pig to be here. We've set up a schedule, and you're going to see a different board member each time. And the next one will be Al Littlefield, who's our acting secretary for the board. So I'm just going to briefly give you an update as to what's going on with our school system and at the Board of Education. Well, school started, and we had a fantastic start. The energy level at the opening session was incredible. It was nice. Kevin Seary filled in for Mark, representing the Board of Selectmen, and did a great job. And Jeff and Don, actually our assistant superintendent Donna Gittleman, gave a very good speech that was well received by everyone as well. Our enrollment, we had projected back during the budget time that our enrollment would be about 2,708 kids, which would have been a drop of about 88 children in the district. Okay. After tallying everything up, as of the end of August, the number was 2,731, which is a drop of 65. So we had 23 more kids than we were anticipating. Kind of interesting, the one thing that did happen was that we had an imbalance across our kindergarten classes, ups and downs. We had more kids at the Flanders School, so many more that we had decided that we needed to add a teaching position, another class of kindergarten at Flanders. And that position was covered through some savings, through our new hires coming in at a lower salary rate. So we're able to kind of cover that. But that was just an imbalance. So our class sizes for kindergarten would be across the board very equitable and less than 18 per class, which is really important to have. Another great thing that happened was that we increased the school day for the elementary schools by 15 minutes with no impact on compensation, teacher compensation at all. And that allowed us to add global language at the 4th grade. And so we're offering global language now, Spanish, at the 4th grade for the first time in about 4 years. Another thing that we did at our last board meeting was we approved a 1-year agreement with the Sino-American Educational Cooperation Program, which we typically call Spiral. And this is the Chinese exchange program that we've been working on for the past 4 years. And Mr. Newton and our board attorney, as well as an ad hoc committee of the board members, worked very hard to get that contract just right. And it has to be written not only in English, but in Chinese as well. So the attorneys that we hired actually had translators to make sure that everything was right on. In the contract, we have negotiated the rights for termination at the end of the year. So if it proves out not to be what we anticipated to be, we'll be able to walk away. We do have 9 children here now from the high school in China, and they have started school, and things are proceeding quite well with that. Another big thing that we're working on is the elementary school design program, and this is where we've hired an architect to look at building a new Flanders elementary school and renovating as new the Niantic Center school. And in this scheme, we would release back to the town the current Lily B. Haynes elementary school. So we'd go from 3 schools to 2 schools. Our design committee meeting just met this afternoon, reviewed the almost final schematic rendition of the 2 schools based upon the programming assessment. And over the past summer, the administration worked very hard with the architect to shrink this project down to try to get it to the right size for the programming, but also the right size so the costs are pushed down as much as they can be. Next Monday, those plans will be presented to the Board of Ed for their deliberations, and the board will hopefully agree that we should continue forward with it such that precise costing would be done by the architect to start to generate what the total price tag is for it. So, and I'm sure you folks will be very interested in that, and each time we come to your meetings, we'll be updating you on that for sure.
Tim, I just want to ask you to repeat that. You said lease Lily B back to the town.
Yes.
And refurbish Flanders and Niantic Center.
We would build a brand new Flanders, and we would renovate as new Niantic Center. Okay. This would allow us to do the entire elementary